For you to be here for our Path of Integrity Monday show. We want to thank you for those that have tuned in. Today is a Monday. It's about now 5 minutes past the hour of 8 p.m. And I know many have actually had their day. Those that managed to go for work and have actually just returned home. We want to say thank you for being exemplary, especially in all that you do on such a day. We are in a new month, that is the 4th of November. So this is our first show in this month of November. But we've so far done a couple of shows. I think there should be 8 talk shows for the 8 pillars. The previous week was our last pillar of trust. My name is Innocent. Together with me in studio, I have Pastor Asaf Afuga, whom we work with in this organization of Pathway for Integrity Network. We have yet another interesting topic to discuss this evening, and I know by the time we get done with the show, a lot shall have been discussed. We always like it when you, our listener, you join us by calling, by sending messages, such that we move together, especially as we discuss some of these issues. First, I want to appreciate the team that we had at Paradise Hotel last week. We were there on Saturday?
Friday.
On Friday, yes. On Friday, we had a wonderful stakeholders meeting that was drawing plans on how we are to implement a couple of activities as an organization. We actually invited you guys on short notice, but you turned up and you participated in giving us a lot of ideas on how we should continuously move with this agenda of integrity. We liked it when you encouraged us that this is one of the best organizations that you've met, especially to do with the issues that we're discussing. All that you generated in terms of ideas have been captured, and all that we are waiting is to see that we can implement these beautiful ideas that you generated. I want to, in a special way, thank the former mayor of Bugembe Town Council, Mr. Wante Stephen. You actually turned up. I worship the deputy mayor of Ginger City, Madam Fazira Kauma. Thank you for being part of this stakeholders engagement that we had on Friday, and other people that joined us. So tonight we yet are going to have another interesting topic. We want to look at how we can unlock our potential in this entire puzzle of development. Unlocking our potential in the puzzle of development. That is something that you should yearn to listen to. If you've not yet told a colleague, tell them that the team from Pathway for Integrity is in the studio. They are going to talk about unlocking potential. Can you imagine? Unlocking your potential. You're going to know much about that. But before going any further, let me invite Pastor Asaf, who seems to be having a sort of not well condition in terms of his voice, but we shall bear with him. You're welcome, Pastor.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Innocent, and good evening, dear listeners. Indeed, my voice is not very good, but I will try. I also want to begin by thanking the team that came on Friday. We had a dinner.
Yeah.
And the dinner was so fruitful. We tried to engage these people because we wanted to understand Busoga well. That's why part of the members who were invited are politicians who have been down there in the people and who have proved to be people who love what we are doing. So we had a wonderful discussion, and actually after the meeting, these people pledged to go forward with us. They really loved what we started in Busoga, and Uganda at large, and they are looking forward to see that we build this organization and help different groups who are suffering with the puzzle development. Our major aim is to see that we solve we solve the problem that is hindering development. That's why we began with trust.
Trust, yeah.
Talking about trust issues as a major factor in either hindering or influencing development.
Yeah.
So, dear listeners, we are still talking about the same. Now today we are looking at unlocking somebody's potential.
Yeah.
Looking at what people have within them to begin with in helping themselves.
Yeah.
So we expect to have a good interaction with you. And yeah, you can invite a friend. You can call someone and ask them to tune on Smart FM. We really want to appreciate that you are there listening to us every Monday, and please keep up. Thank you so much. I remain Pastor Asaf Afuga, the Executive Director of Pathway for Integrity Network.
Those that don't know us, we are a community-based organization, and we are here, so find Ginger. That's our area of jurisdiction. That's where we operate from. But soon, we know we shall be mandated or formally allowed to operate in the entire country, because we are processing our NGO status, and that may allow us to reach so many districts in the country. So for now, we are basically CBO. We're in Ginger. Our offices are in Ginger City on Clive Road, Haji Hussein building. That building is just behind Bank of Africa. On that is Alidina Road. But if you're on Clive Road, it is actually the tallest building on Clive Road. It is the tallest building on Clive Road. So you can easily locate us at that point. We are on the first floor, room number 21 or shop number 21. That's where you'll find us. Pay us a visit. Come, please, let's talk on how we can better our nation, especially when it comes to these issues of integrity. And we know a lot is being done. We are sitting to, as a team, to see to it that we can come up with programs that will impact our community. Members, you remember that we did actually discuss the 8 pillars of trust. I don't know that we still remember them from the first to the last that we had last week. Let's make a recap. We started by talking about the first pillar, which was pillar number 1, clarity. I remember we did discuss and said that when you want to be trusted, then your communication must be clear. That is clarity. Your no should be a no. Your yes should be a yes. You must be clear. And any ambiguity in what you speak will always bring doubt, will always create doubt, will cause people not to trust you. If you're going to cancel out an invitation, please let it be known early enough. Don't wait for the day when the due day of the invitation, and then say, oh, I forgot. No. Let the clarity bit be there so that you're trusted the more. Then we did talk about character. Compassion. Yes, we talked about compassion, and say that if you're compassionate, you're most likely to be trusted. You put yourself in the position of people that have whatever challenges that they are going through. You empathize with them. You care for them. You also understand their condition. You just don't pay lip service to their condition, but you actually get involved to solve some of their challenges. Pillar number 3 was about consistency, where we said you need to be reliable, you must be predictable, and you must be committed. What you said today should be consistent with what you'll say next week at the same time. You shouldn't change. You don't need to be like weather, where you change basing on the condition of the day. So please, consistency is very important. if you're to be trusted. Then we said competence, which here we said we demonstrate aspects of expertise, skills, and abilities. We gave an example of medics and said medics are trusted. When a doctor diagnoses you and says this is where the problem is, you'll never doubt that because they are competent in the work they are doing. They know what they are doing because they have the expertise. Then confidentiality, respect privacy, handle people's information, sensitive information carefully. Don't be the kind that they tell a secret and you share the same with 10 people. That will actually lose trust. People will lose trust in you. And then we talked about recently. We talked about the aspect of the commitment. Be committed in what you do. We talked about character. Your character determines how much level of trust that people have for you and others. So we basically did look at these issues of trust and the 8 pillars. I hope they have managed to help our people. They've managed to cause something within your life. For those that have been following us on radio, we did talk about connection. Remember, connection was one other aspect that we talked about. Contribution was also talked about. Be there for others, contribute, and please, as you contribute, this will actually create a lot of trust for you, and people will like moving with you, associating with you, because you are the kind that is that contributes. And we also, I think, those are some of the clarity, compassion, character, competence, commitment, connection, contribution, and consistency did actually form our trust pillars, which are the 8 pillars of trust. Now, today, we are going to look at unlocking our potential. Unlocking my potential. You know, Pastor,
Yes.
when you look at a human being, human beings are born with numerous potentials, and it's only discovery. It's only you to discover what you can do best.
Sure.
But you see, God created us with full potential. In the Bible, I think there is the parable of the talents,
Yes.
and they clearly show you the different talents, abilities people have. It's all about how do you discover that this is what I can do best. It takes unlocking them.
Sure.
Oh, you unlock the potential. And you see, when you are having potential in doing something, it is not until you unlock that potential that it will break all that has held you back for so many years.
But did you know that in many cases, for someone to understand or to unlock their potential, it is always realized during hard times, when all doors have closed, when nothing's working out in your life.
Yes.
That's when you start thinking hard, thinking of how you can get out of the box and solve your problem, how you can take yourself to the next step. That is actually what we are talking about.
Yeah.
If there is no one helping you, how can you help yourself?
It's not going to come on a silver plate.
Yes.
And I normally tell people that there is no amount of feeling sorry for yourself that will solve problems. There isn't. Whatever that you say, whatever that you do, it all goes back to how are you solving those problems that you're facing as an individual. It starts with you. You know, someone might sit down and say, you see, I lost my job. And now since I lost my job, life has become so difficult. I can't do anything. It was only my job that was actually making me survive. It is not until you lose that job that you will notice that you need to work out of the box and begin to have a life that does not only depend on that one job. You understand?
Yes.
It has to take you lose something to get something new. It takes one to lose something
In order to get something.
in order to get something new. Until you lose something, you'll never see new things in your life. You'll never see new things in your life. Because it's the same thing that Pastor you've said, that because we are in a comfortable zone. I was sharing with Professor Tom, I think either Professor Tom or Reverend John, in one of our meetings on Thursday. And I was saying that, you see, because we are located in a more comfortable hemisphere, this hemisphere where we are,
Of Africa.
especially the tropical region where we are, where it rains and even floods occur without harvesting the water, and yet we have people that are not having clean water, where we have soils that can cause germination, that can cause things to germinate even if you throw some seeds around. It is because of our environment, where we are located, that one would not bother to look outside and say, after all, I will have something to eat. But if the reverse is true, if we had maybe a desert here, where we are, if we had maybe snow here, we would plan for that before.
Sure.
Yes, we would plan. We would plan. Because humankind is made to think when things are hard. When things are difficult, that's when you think most. When things are easy, you may not think much.
Sure.
You understand? So, unlocking your potential will take someone to suffer. You may suffer at a certain point, and then begin to see how things are going to change in your life.
Sure. You know, I was talking to someone one day, and then it was like, for us in the village, we are more advantaged. But for you who are living in towns, you have a problem.
Yeah.
For me, even if I don't dig, there are lots of plenty of foods in the village. I can even go out to the neighbor and ask for something. There are lots of fruits which are not for sale.
Yeah.
So I can go and pick one at no cost and eat. But for you in town, you depend on buying everything. So you need to work hard, but for us, even if we don't work hard. Now look at such a mindset. Because you have plenty of the resources around you. So you don't think outside the box.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not until you get yourself into a fix. There are times where drought hits even the villages.
Yeah.
And people lack what to eat. That's when they start waking up. Next month, I'll plan on planting maize. The other month, I'll plan on something because it has hit me hard. So what are we trying to communicate to the people? You need to look at yourself and think outside the box. This is now unlocking your potential. In Africa, and Uganda in particular, we are used to being dependents.
Yeah.
We are used to thinking someone will come and help me. Either a relative, or maybe a friend, or the government, and some other people. But the people you see who are prospering and making money, it's not because they are being helped by others. No. It is because they are using their brain. It is because they sat down and thought about how much they can help themselves. And mind you, the rich men work hard. And the poor who depend on the rich, they don't even care. That's why they even get to a point of misusing the little they are given. Because they don't know how to suffer for this kind of money.
Yeah.
They are just on the receiving end. The people who are suffering today, most of us are in blame games. I'm suffering because the government is not working hard. I'm suffering because our LC chairman made me to miss something. I'm suffering because a friend did not give me a connection. Yes, all that is happening, and there are many things happening in the country. There are many challenges people are facing in the same country, Uganda. Not that others are living in Kenya, and for us we're in Uganda. So, how can you take good use of the available opportunity that is surrounding you? We are all opportuned. At least there is a beginning area or point where you can base to help yourself get out of poverty or solve out of there. Instead of blaming people, look at yourself and try to understand your problem. What is your problem in issues of development? Some of us have been given jobs. We have the expertise, for example, but the trust we've been talking about has been a challenge.
Yeah.
So you move from one place to another. You work here, you work at the other side, you work here. At every workplace, you don't even spend a month because of your character, maybe, because of your behavior, because you are not trusted, and that's your problem. Yes, you went to school, you were educated, you know what to do, but the character cannot keep you at the job. These are some of the things we need to think about. What is my problem?
Pastor, just to chip in,
Yes.
dependency.
Yes.
Any person who is dependent on another person is a prisoner of that person. The moment you think of doing anything, and the next thing that you will think is someone to pay, to give, to enable you do it, then you are limited in as far as doing that. Because what happens? The one who gives you determines how you should behave. You get me?
Yes, yes.
If I gave you money, you are not independent in spending the money. You will always think that what will Innocent think about me if I bought a shoe with the money he gave me?
Yes.
You understand? In other words, I limit your thinking capacity in terms of being free to either do something that you can invest. Money earned through dependence is money that imprisons the dependents.
Yes.
That's why when you look at our continents, Africa in an example, we are still struggling to break the yoke of underdevelopment to become developed, because we look outside such that we can actually determine. Whatever we look for from the out is conditioned. They are what they call conditioned grants. You've heard of that?
Yes.
Conditioned money. Do this with this money. Do not spend outside what we have told you.
Sure.
And that will not make you develop. But if you decided to have your own money, however little it is, it enables you to be independent in choice, in the planning, in the way you are going to spend this money. The moment you don't break out from the yoke of dependence, then development is not going to come easily, because you are being controlled from the one who owns the money. The one who owns the money is giving you directions on how to use this money. You understand?
Yes.
So you cannot unlock your potential when you look unto someone for you to become rich.
Yes.
The rich people you talk about today are ones that have overcome the yoke of dependence. That is it. Even the rich countries that you talk about today are countries that have broken the yoke of dependence. Not until we accept and say, now we shall work within our means. And you know, one thing that you need to understand, Pastor, is that to become dependent, to become independent, you must work within your means.
Yes.
The moment you accept that this is me, I am as poor as this, then you're going to accept to work within your means.
I cannot spend beyond.
You can't.
10,000 in
Yes,
a day.
this is me. You budget and plan within your means. You don't go beyond what you are not supposed to go into. You avoid unnecessary borrowing. You avoid unnecessary expenses. You avoid unnecessary maybe activities. So you limit yourself to exactly what you're supposed to have.
Yes, and there's something that has affected people so much in our country. I've studied it over time.
Yes.
Most especially people doing small businesses.
Yes.
You find women, actually they normally do groups of saving in their
circles. Yeah.
But problems normally happen everywhere. Barriers, what. And you realize somebody is running with capital 50,000. then this person gets a burial problem.
Yeah.
He's going to bury at a distance where she will spend 20,000 going,
Yes.
and 20,000 coming back.
back.
So she uses the capital of 40,000 to go for the burial.
Yeah.
Which is not bad, but this person has not looked at what makes them survive. Why don't you talk to someone who has lost a friend or somebody? If possible, if you can send maybe a condolence of 10,000 and keep your business. If you are not in position to take a journey right now, maybe it's a wedding, something of that kind, this is what you are talking about.
Yeah.
Spending within your means.
Within your means, yes.
If something is taking away your capital and tomorrow you will not survive, better leave it.
There are some very simple things that we are supposed to do to actually discover what God gave us, what potential He endowed us with. You know, people spend quite a long time before realizing who they are. And you know, I would say we have come to a point whereby our being is determined by academic grades. You only look at what you can be by seeing what you qualified in and what you have. Limiting yourself to specifically what you studied.
Sure.
And yet you may be a good mason, you may be a very good talk about orator and this time a motivational speaker. You may be someone who has potential to actually rally people to develop. You're a leader.
Yes.
You know, leadership is a quality that one can be identified. Among the so many people, just know that that person is a leader. See him by expression, by how we actually being listened to. How do people receive my communication? Have we tried to discover ourselves?
Yes.
I normally tell people that self-reflection is the beginning of understanding what potential lies in you. Do you do self-reflection? Do you sit down and see what you can do best? You know, not the educational cycle that we've attained is not necessarily what we are supposed to be.
Sure.
We are some people are seated on a potential that they are supposed to actually be someone so different, a businessman, a powerful businessman in town, but they have sat on their potential.
You may be looking at that and the education to help you, which is fine. But before you get a job,
Yes.
which you studied for, what can you do now to take you to that job?
Yes.
If you have another skill of doing business, can you start with that as you wait for an opportunity?
An opportunity for the job.
Because people have waited for jobs. Last time we were saying that someone will say, I will not work for 300 because I qualify for 800
million shillings or
million shillings. So if I find a job of 400,000, no, that's not my level. And they keep waiting for years. They keep moving their papers in every
office.
And until their shoes get worn out.
Yes.
Just because they are looking for 800,000. You never know if you go somewhere and begin with 400.
If you used your potential to actually maybe do something new.
Yes.
I remember tell people that, can you discover something that has not been done? Sit down and think of what has not been done that you can do to start a new chapter in life. It is what we are looking for today. Have you unlocked your potential? Do you feel where you are, all that you're doing is exactly what you are supposed to do?
Sure.
Are you lost within choices? Are you one person that has not yet discovered what you're supposed to do? And because of not understanding what you're supposed to do, you have actually gone through so many opportunities. You've tried this and failed. You tried another and failed because you're on a journey of self-discovery. There is something in you that you can do much better than any other person. You know, God gave us different potentials. I am fully gifted in when it comes to communication. That is my gift. That is my potential.
Yes.
When I chose what to study, I chose a job that can speak. That is what I felt I could do. You may not be a good orator, but when it comes to writing, you write so well. You write so many things. Have you sat down and tried out to do proposal writing, to do, write articles and encourage others to buy books? We are just saying, can you do something? You may have a potential business. If I went to a shop, I am not a very good bargainer. But you may be very good at bargaining.
Yes.
That being the start of you being a businessman, because you try to minimize costs and expenses at the same time. You try to reduce on what you would have spent on a lot of money. You understand?
Yes.
Others have so many. I don't know. We cannot understand what you are. But can you unlock your potential? This country, our motherland, which is Africa, and Uganda in particular, sits on very fertile soil.
Yes.
We have resources as a country. But have you sat down and looked at how we can utilize these resources and become better? I one time was saying that with all this, the water bodies that are surrounding us, how can we cry of poverty? With all the fertile soil in this country, how can we cry of poverty? Yeah, there are countries that barely have no soils that are fertile. It is sand all over, deserts. But they've sat and done much that has changed their economies. There are actually countries where we are running to for money, and yet their countries are totally against the odds of those countries. So what potential do you hold as a person? Have you understood what you have? And have you unlocked your potential? Or there is nothing? Professor Tom writes in his book and talks about he talks about something to do with the time when he was in Cameroon, where he finds a country endowed with all the natural resources. He lands within that country. He lands in a country where everything was just to do a small thing and things work out. To an extent of, I think he built a dam. They were working to that extent, to a village dam.
Yeah, something like, was it a borehole?
A borehole, yes, a borehole. Okay. Look at that. Something simple that can be done by us. The only thing that we are lacking and are failing to see happen is because we want to be given. I want to be given by Pastor Asaf such that I can survive. I want to be given by Innocent such that I can survive. We are not saying that some people who are in abject poverty have failed to discover themselves, but I'm saying, how do we explain this to God? That in our country, people are dying of hunger.
Something, actually you said it well. Do we want to tell God that we are suffering because no one is helping us? Is it how God created us to be? Because God created us with that potential where we can help ourselves and come out of poverty. But just because we don't think about it, this is what we started with by saying that you should understand, let me say, your strength and your weaknesses.
Yeah.
What hinders development and what opportunity do you have? If you have a bad character, when it is your problem, then you need to work out on that.
Yeah.
If you are lazy and that is your problem, not being creative, then you need to work out on that. You need to work on that. At least you must have something to make you go to the next level. Let us stop blaming people. This is what we are simply saying. We have blamed the people a lot.
Yes.
There are systems that may not change now, my dear friend. The government, many people are saying the government is a problem, is a problem, is a problem. It will continue to be a problem to you if you see it as a problem. If you don't think about yourself, in the same government, like we said, others are doing something. Because if one door closes, you can think about another door. You can think about another.
Yeah, when we talk about government and limited opportunities, our listeners don't misconceive what we are saying. The truth is, in this era and age, there are those that are rich, but still they are poor people. I was with my friend Samuel, Council Samuel, on Friday. We were in a meeting somewhere, and he made a very good statement. He said that people that live today know so much about what they cannot do. They know so much about what the problems they have are, but know little about
the opportunities.
He even illustrated this and say that if you ask someone that, now you tell us what has failed you, he will give you a list of challenges.
Sure.
We have failed because of roads, we have failed because of hospital, we have failed. Those ones are there. Then if they ask him that, what can you do? What can you do therefore? The other side of doing is not there. They don't have what to do. And that is a sign that we have lost hope. And we don't want to see light at the end of the tunnel. Because amid this failure to do, the question would be, why is it that others are doing and others are prospering? In the same age and era, some people are doing well. Some people are rich. The only challenge is that people want to see themselves at this level of the wealth of those that have worked for so many years. That comparison is wrong. You must start from somewhere if you're going to be rich. And wealth is not compared by saying so and so has much, therefore I should also have this much. You must determine the size of the court by the way you cut it. It's not going to be that because someone is putting on a big coat, therefore mine is also going to be big.
Sure.
Your coat is your coat. His is his. Develop your coat depending on where you want it to be. We talked while we are beginning this program some time back that you see people want to do things the way others do them. If Innocent is a presenter on radio, you want to be a presenter on radio and speak like Innocent. Why don't you do your own?
That is discovering your
Discover your potential. Because I am there already. I am presenting. I'm there. Those who like me will like me because I do what I am doing. But they will not like you because you do what is like me.
Sure.
Understand where you have a niche, where you have a comparative advantage, and blow that comparative advantage higher than you can. But the moment you keep on comparing and say, okay, because pastor started the church, I therefore need to also start a church. It is in the church where money is. That's a lie. You're going to fail. Because someone is a fisherman and he has gotten wealth, that's what I'm going to do. The whole thing is that what he has is not what you have.
We can simply say that every progress has factors affecting that progress.
Let's come back for it. Let's go for a short commercial break and get back. To our call-ins, 14 minutes to the hour of 9 p.m. We shall therefore have some call-ins shortly to have your contribution on this topic of unlocking your potential. Yes, we are saying all this knowing that there are challenges that people go through, and especially challenges that are both within and out. There are those that are basically incapacitated by their effort, by body, physical, and others. There are those that have failed because the outside environment has actually limited them. But against all odds, we are saying you must unlock your potential for you to definitely enjoy all that is that God created you to be. God did not create anyone to suffer.
Said it right.
That is not true. God created us to enjoy. That's why the Bible says that when He created all the creation, He said it was good. At the end of creation, whether man, whether animals, all that He had created was what? Good.
You said it like what Professor told us.
Yes.
That God did not create us, and He said that Americans should be the one giving.
No.
Or the West should be the one
giving Africa.
Africa.
No.
He said Africans are just being lazy, and they need really to wake up and stop being dependent. Because God has created you with all the resources better than America.
I one time say that if these young men who are currently unemployed, maybe fresh university graduates, decided to probably attack a village somewhere and hired land, maybe 10, 20 acres of land, which are currently hired at very little money, and said, we are not going to town to look for what to do. We are going to concentrate on this garden and ensure we grow what will make us successful in life. They are educated, yes, they speak English.
Yes.
They are educated, yes, they know everything about the city. I'm telling you, if they gave themselves 5 years, they will be in the city with so much wealth that they wouldn't have that they can't get if they stayed in the city for the next 5 years.
Sure, looking for jobs.
Looking for jobs. Because they will say, let's concentrate. And they turn this farm as their job. It is their office. They will be suffering. Definitely they will suffer. No one will never, you will never get anything without suffering. That one, no one should deceive you, my brother, my sister. It first starts with suffering. Then after suffering, that's when you actually enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Did you know that, for me, I thought that countries like of the West, I thought they are prospering because their systems are okay and there are no problems.
They have problems.
But they also have problems.
Exactly.
They also have challenges.
Exactly.
Economic.
There are poor people in the West, by the way. Someone should never deceive you. There are people who are extremely poor, in abject poverty. And only that their policies tend to actually look after those people that are in terrible situations.
And even those who seem to be rich, there are challenges they are facing also with their governments. Some systems are not working well, but they are still working hard to make sure that they penetrate and overcome the cycle of poverty. So we can also do the same. We can do something. We can wake up. It begins by what you have. What do you have in your heart?
I will ask the listeners, maybe as you call in, 075-2890-890, 075-2890-890. Please call us and join the discussion. Without blaming anyone for your failures, can you tell us how are you unlocking your potential? Without saying, you know, this government, or you know, this mother of mine, you know, my education background, how are you unlocking your potential? We just need to understand. Today is not the best day to blame the government. It is not the best day for us to blame someone. We want you to tell us. How?
Are you blaming yourself?
Are you blaming yourself? Maybe you blame yourself for unlocking your potential. Hello, Smart FM. Pastor, yes, as we wind up. Two things. In this world, what you have is required by someone else. But if you do not have opportunity to show that you have it, it will not be known.
If you don't think outside the box.
Because at this point you have plenty, but someone is lacking it. You must look for the one who needs your service. And that's when you can benefit.
And that is the creativity we are talking about.
We shall be right back again, I think, next week for another interesting topic. But for now, bye-bye.